You ever been in the middle of a dream trip, the kind you've been planning for months, maybe even years, and then out of nowhere, something completely derails it? I'll never forget the moment it happened to me. I was on a group tour, visiting all these beautiful places I'd only seen in pictures. I was finally ticking off items on my bucket list. Everything was going perfect. Until it wasn't. It started with just a little tickle in my throat. You know, one of those things you ignore because you're in vacation mode, right? But by the end of the day, that tickle turned into full-on chills, fever, and this intense pressure in my chest that made it hard to breathe. I remember standing there, looking at the group, trying to act normal, like, yeah, I'm fine. But I could barely keep my eyes open. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a cold. I'm in a foreign country, far from home, in the middle of a group tour, and my body is shutting down. I could barely walk back to the hotel, let alone enjoy the rest of the trip. My first thought wasn't about the tour or the photos I was missing. It wasn't even about what was happening to me. My mind was racing with one overwhelming question. How am I going to pay for this? I'd heard the stories, right? About travelers getting hit with crazy medical bills because they didn't have insurance. About hospitals in some places that wouldn't even treat you without paying up front. And here I was, stuck in that exact nightmare. My stomach was in knots. I didn't want to be that person, the one who ruins the trip for everyone else because of something like this. But what could I do? I was so far from home, and suddenly, all the planning, the excitement. It didn't matter. All I wanted was to get better and get back home. That's when I remembered I had something I'd almost completely forgotten about. Travel insurance. Yeah, I know. It's not the most exciting thing to think about when you're booking flights and hotels. But that policy I'd taken out a few weeks before the trip, it was about to save me. I contacted the insurance company, and they were shockingly quick to respond. They helped me arrange an emergency doctor's appointment, and within hours, I was at a local clinic getting the care I needed. But here's the twist: because I had insurance, I didn't have to worry about the costs. I didn't have to be stressed about how I'd pay for medication or whether I'd be able to get proper treatment in a foreign country. I could focus on getting better instead of getting buried in a sea of paperwork or bills. I'm not gonna lie, there's no feeling worse than being sick while traveling. But knowing that I had that coverage, that safety net, was a relief I can't even explain. It wasn't perfect. The trip wasn't exactly what I'd hoped for, but I was able to recover quickly and rejoin the group. And honestly, if I hadn't had that insurance, I don't even know what I would have done. Here's the thing though. A lot of people talk about travel insurance like it's something you're supposed to buy because it's just the smart thing to do. And sure, that's true. But the real reason I'm talking about this is because of the peace of mind it gave me. I know there's this idea that insurance is just one more expense, one more thing to think about. But when you're in a situation like I was, in a foreign country, alone and sick, suddenly that small investment feels like the best decision you could have made. If you're anything like me, you might think that things like this won't happen to you. But they do. And having that coverage can make the difference between a nightmare and a slightly uncomfortable but manageable situation. Here's what I found that worked for me, or as .insure. It's not some giant, impersonal company. It's the kind of travel insurance I actually trust and use. I don't recommend it because I'm trying to sell anything. I'm telling you about it because it literally saved me when I had no idea what to do or who to turn to. I didn't think I'd need it, until I did. And when the worst happened, Auras was there for me, quietly handling all the details while I focused on getting better. It was a lifesaver in the truest sense. So, next time you're booking your trip, don't just look at flights and hotels. Take a second to think about what would happen if the unexpected happened to you. Trust me, it's worth the small peace of mind.